Join me as I dive into the wild theory of time travelers visiting us in history, and I'll try to uncover the most mind-blowing evidence that could prove it. Time travel. That fascinating concept that has captured our imagination for centuries. From H.G. Wells to Doctor Who, modern science fiction has brought this idea to life, often depicting time travelers visiting the past, altering courses of events and the like. But what if I told you that some people believe time travelers might have actually visited us in history? Mind-blowing, right? When we think about time travel, especially in an historical context, it's easy to be skeptical. I mean, where's the concrete evidence, right? There's no mention of time travelers in historical records, no photographs, no first-hand accounts. It's almost as if we're grasping at straws, trying to find something that's just not there. But that's exactly what makes this topic so intriguing. The possibility, however small, that time travelers might have been involved in key events throughout history, influencing the course of human civilization as we know it. The lack of evidence is, of course, a major hurdle. If time travelers had indeed visited us, wouldn't we have some record of it? A whisper, a rumor, anything. But what if they were clever enough to cover their tracks, to blend in seamlessly with their surroundings? That's a chilling thought, don't you think? The idea that time travelers might be masters of disguise, hiding in plain sight, and we're none the wiser. In many ways, this lack of evidence is what makes the theory of time travelers visiting us in history so tantalizing. We're left to our own devices, piecing together scraps of information, searching for inconsistencies in the timeline. And that's exactly what's led some people to propose that certain historical events, or even figures, might have been influenced by time travelers. Take, for instance, the enigmatic figure of John Titor, the alleged time traveler who emerged on the internet in the early 2000s, claiming to be a time traveler soldier from the year 2036. His predictions, although often cryptic, were surprisingly accurate, sparking a wave of interest in the possibility of time travel. Then there's the curious case of the New York Times article from 1915, which appears to describe a modern-looking airplane, complete with propellers and everything. Coincidence? Maybe. But what if? Another fascinating example is the story of Andrew Carlson, the mysterious Wall Street trader who seemingly had access to future knowledge, making a small fortune in the process. Was he a time traveler, or just incredibly lucky? The world may never know. And what about the eerie similarities between ancient structures, like the pyramids of Giza and the Moai statues of Easter Island? Could it be that ancient civilizations were influenced by visitors from the future? But one piece of evidence in particular stands out: the infamous Charlie Chaplin time traveler photograph from the 1920s. You might have seen it circulating online, an old film reel still showcasing a woman who appears to be talking on a mobile phone. I mean, what's going on there? Is it a hoax, or could it be something more? For many, this photograph is the smoking gun, the proof they need to believe that time travelers have indeed visited us in history. So, what do we make of all this? Are time travelers visiting us in history, or is this all just a wild goose chase? One thing's for certain: the debate is far from over. Whether you're a die-hard believer or a hardened skeptic, the idea of time travelers influencing our past is too tantalizing to ignore. Thanks for joining me on this wild ride. If you've got thoughts on time travel, leave them in the comments below. And if you're craving more mind-bending theories, be sure to check out my video on the Mandela effect. It's a real trip.